So I know that a lot of people have already done this debate, but today I'm talking about one of every Pokemon versus a billion lions. And I'm gonna go ahead and say I think the Pokemon win. Not just that, I feel like I know so. Because you wanna know something? 1 billion lions is a lot of lions. But this is exactly what they would look like. They're just jumbled up. Like, I mean, I know that's, to get the flying guys. But, like, first of all, that's inefficient because flying things can move much better in the air than lions can on the ground. And second of all, I mean, they can also just fly higher. And yes, I know 1 billion lions is a lot, but if you look it up, do lions work well together? They hunt together, raise their cubs, and defend joint territories. Yes, they can cooperate. However, I think there's simply too many for them to cooperate with. Like, if you look at a pack of lions, or a herd of lions, whatever the term is, it's like a herd of 5 to 10, not a billion. And not to mention that a billion lions. I mean, like I said, it's a lot. They take up a lot of space. So first of all, I mean, remember, they still need food. Pokemon, well, there's gods. Gods don't need to eat food, but lions, they do. So all the Pokemon have to do is, survive long enough for the billions of lions to, just starve because that's simply too many. And second of all, there's not enough space for them all to fight at the same time. Basically, what the Pokemon could do is they could just ward off wave after wave. It's like kicking kindergartners into the next mile, one at a time. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. It's like if all 1 billion lions could fight them at the same time, then there'd be a chance. Except for the Flyers, because, that seems kind of impossible. But yeah, and then let's say that they all can attack at the same time. Let's say that they all can attack at the same time. Look at Magcargo. Look at his Pokedex entries. Which one is it? Body temperature is 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. You think lions can handle that? You think lions can handle that? And it's not even a one-time thing. It's repeated multiple times, which means, body is hot as lava, always billowing. Magcargo alone wouldn't be able to be touched unless they somehow cooled him down. So let's say it's raining. Let's say it is raining for Magcargo. That only benefits Kyogre. That makes Kyogre stronger. So like, and honestly, even then, you can just, hey, look, I have a Groudon now. It's no longer raining. In fact, rain is completely gone because one of every Pokemon does not exclude the primals. It does not exclude Mega Evolutions. It does not exclude Z moves, which, by the way, I want to talk about the Necrozma Z, or what is it? Necrozma Z. Ultra Necrozma Z. I want to talk about this. I'm looking at... I don't want to look at Bulbapedia. I like Pokemon Database. Light that burns the sky. Let's look up that light that burns the sky Pokemon. Let's look at this move. Why don't we? Come on. It's not even gonna tell me what. Do moves not have actual descriptions anymore? Flavor text. Wow. Thanks. Fucking. Basically, I mean, it's pretty strong. Fucking hell. Necrozma literally absorbs light. Necrozma steals light. That is the whole lore behind Necrozma, is that it steals light. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And you want to know what lions can't live without light, because what do they need? Photosynthesis. From what? Grass. Because, like, people just don't... I don't know if people actually know a lot about Pokemon whenever they talk about these things. Not to mention... Dialga. Can't Dialga literally pause time? Let's look at his entries. I didn't do research before I did this. I just want to say that. Time began moving when Dialga was born. Has the power to control time. Like, I mean, seriously, if he controls the power of time, right? He can travel through the past and the future. Are you seriously telling me that Dialga can't just, take care of things by pausing time for everybody but himself? It would take a while, but I mean, if time's not passing, then I mean, then not a lot of time is actually going by. And then Palkia, god of space. And like, even if you don't want to count Pokedex entries, they're still gods, right? Like, Wolfie did a lot more talking about that, but I'm just saying that there's some things that people haven't thought about. Like, I mean, I'm sure people have talked about Palkia and stuff, distort space, da 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 da. But there's also like Darkrai, right? Who I'm fairly certain just makes anything go to sleep and have nightmares. Lions can't handle that. Lions can't handle all that. Chases people and Pokemon from its territory by causing them to experience deep, nightmarish slumbers. Well, people to sleep and make them dream, da 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 da. Like, it can literally... It just makes anything fall asleep. Like, it just makes anything have nightmares. And, I mean, if you're having nightmares, you're asleep. And if you're asleep, then you're defenseless. AKA, you're an easy target. You know what I mean? Even things like Mew. Mew floats. Not only does Mew float, but Mew can literally have any move in the game. And, like, it also, like, it can all... Wait, Mew can be invisible? That's actually kind of crazy. So, do you think lions are going to be able to take care of an invisible Pokemon? Not just that, but it's also a small-ass Pokemon. Literally a foot tall. So it's not an easy target either. And it's not weak at all. You know? I just don't get how people can say that the Billion Lions wins. I just don't see it. Because, like, you realize they can literally just, like, again, let's go back to Groudon, right? Let's just turn everything into a fucking drought. No water in sight. All the plants dehydrate. All the water evaporates. Everything dry as hell. You want to know how long lions can live without water? Me too, because I need to look it up. How long can lions live without water? 4 days. So give them 4 days and they lose. And you know something? There's a lot of Pokemon that can fly. So again, just stall. Just stall at that point. And what about without breathing for Kyogre? Just drowning them all with water. Up to 6 minutes. All Kyogre has to do is flood everything. Even if it's an open area, I'm sure Kyogre could figure something out. Just keep spraying water at them constantly. I mean, after all, surf and shit exists, so they can... So pretty much, so many Pokemon can just, cause a tsunami wave out of fucking nowhere. You know? It's the kind of thing where, like... You tell me, how the fuck are lions gonna even do anything to a Stakataka? A literal walking building that literally cannot be touched by normal things. Like, a punch would do literally nothing. Like, yes, a billion lions could probably, like, swarm it, but they would do nothing. And that's assuming he's not even moving, which, I mean, all Stakataka would have to do is spin a little bit. All it would have to do is, like, use Gyro Ball, and it would just, like, roll through tons of lions. Because, you want to know how heavy this thing is? 820. Want to know how heavy Celesteela is? Want to know how, literally 1,000 kilograms. 1,000 kilograms. Celesteela can literally sit on a line and it immediately gets squashed to death. I don't... Like, what? How? How? Also, earlier, I mentioned Mega Evolutions. Mega Mewtwo. Please remember, we're talking about one of every Pokemon. We're talking about one of every single Pokemon. Remember, I mean, the Megas wouldn't be individual, so we would probably choose either Mega Mewtwo X or Y. But, like, they're, like, grip strength of 1 ton, and can sprint 100 meters in 2 seconds flat. That's 50 meters a second. How fast? How fast is the fastest? Or how fast is 50 meters per second? That's 111 miles per hour. That is faster than anything you'll see on the road. That is almost as fast as something you would see on a racetrack. And that bitch can just run it with its legs. You're seriously telling me lions are going to be able to handle that? I don't think so, buddy. And if you choose Y, with a mere thought, it can smash a skyscraper to smithereens. Just by thinking, Megamind over here can smash a skyscraper. Might as well call that the second 9/11, because goddamn. Like, and you know, this is lore. If you want to talk about, you know, in-game how strong they are, go to fucking Wolfie's video. He talked about it more. But me, I'm just showing you things that maybe other people didn't show you. I didn't actually watch all those videos, but I can say that I didn't know either of these facts until recently. Oh, by recently I mean today, because like I said, this is not scripted, this is not planned at all. This is literally just, oh, what should I do for the second channel? And I decided this. And so it's crazy to think that some people just overlook that. Also, let's look at another mega. Let's look at another mega. Latias. I want to see what's your mega. Oh wait, does your mega not have a Pokedex entry? Damn. But first of all, levitate. Second of all, it's a fucking jet, so it can just not only outrun, but it can also just, you know, it can refract light. Oh, it can become another Pokemon that can become invisible. What do you know? What do you fucking know? Also, highly intelligent, capable of understanding human speech. That means that the Pokemon can communicate without a trainer. They can communicate. You know, like, oh yeah, telepathically communicate with people. I mean, obviously, yes, human speech, you know. But they do have a way of communicating. Have you seen the anime? They have communication. So, lions, they have communication too, but communicating to 1 billion is a hell of a lot harder than communicating to 1,000. And to be specific, that is 1 million times harder. So, you know, that's something. Is there anything else that maybe other people haven't talked about? Do you think lions would be able to live in a sandstorm? Do you think they'd be able to? Because I don't know. Oh wait. Oh well. First of all, let me show you this. Ever heard of earthquake? Pokemon can spawn earthquakes or cause earthquakes just out of their ass. Want to know something else? Pelipper. This is just the first Pokemon that comes to mind when I think of this move. Where are you at? Hurricane. They can literally cause natural disasters. Even the non-legendaries can cause natural disasters out of nowhere. Literally all of them. Literally so many Pokemon can do surf, which is basically a tsunami. Hurricane, earthquake, flamethrower. Do you think lions can survive being on fire? I think not. Not even to mention, Wolfie talked about like moves and like he talked a lot about the more nerdy shit. You know, he talked about the nerdier shit. You know, I'm talking about the more like random shit. You know, the more obscure. Wait, I'm curious. What's the lore behind like Chien-Pao and shit? Like, I actually have no idea. Control this Pokemon 100 tons of fallen snow. Hey, YouTube. You think lions can handle 100 tons of fallen snow? You think it can? You think they can? You think they can handle 100 tons of fallen snow? Do you? Do you think they can? I doubt it. Because like all it takes is all of that to just push them. Because remember, they're all having to crowd into some space. They're all having to crowd together. They don't work well in tight areas. There's a reason why they spread out. Even like if you okay, so how big is a lion? How big is a lion, right? I'm not talking about weight. Okay. 72 inches, so that's what, 6 feet in length? 6 feet in length, and what the hell is this measurement for? Is this meant to be width? I don't know. I don't know, but let's just say that they're 6 feet long and something. How wide is a lion? How wide is a lion? Okay, so 6 feet by 2 feet. Let's just say they're 6 feet by 2 feet, right? So 12 feet squared. 12 feet squared, right? So 12 feet, so 12 billion feet squared, right? How big is the biggest landmass in terms of feet squared? Remember, they need like 12 billion. So that's only 17 million. All the lions can't even fit inside of Russia. and that's not considering space in between the lions. They would literally be piling on top of each other, bigger than buildings. They would be like I don't think people think people realize just how much fucking space people will need. I mean, this is per square kilometer, right? So like this isn't entirely accurate. What's this, right? What's this? What value is 10 to the power of 14? Okay, so there's probably enough space in Russia. Never mind. Scratch what I just said. I'm just a stupid bitch. So that's 1,000, million, billion, 100 trillion. Okay. So the entirety of Russia has enough for it. By a lot. Russia has more than enough space. But remember, that's still a lot of space. They would be, unless they were crowding themselves, they would be so spread out that it would literally take days and probably even weeks or months, maybe even years, to actually have them all, fight. Some of them would just be stuck in the back for a while, and by that point, natural disasters might kill them, or just natural starvation, natural things. And remember, this is Russia. Russia is the largest landmass, and I mean, are you really gonna have a billion lions versus Pokemon in, things? Okay, so let's convert something. 12 billion square feet is equal to how many kilometers? All right, how many square kilometers? One. Okay, so that is 1,000. So how many countries have more than 1,000 square kilometers in land size? How many? 193, and the vast majority of them easily surpass the size threshold. Really? Huh. 10,000 square kilometers. Well, remember, we're actually looking for... I'm sorry? Damn. Countries are bigger than I thought. Okay. So space isn't a problem. Unless my math is wrong, which My math is probably wrong, but I doubt it is. So space isn't a problem, but you want to know what still is? Resources. Pokemon. There are Pokemon that can produce food, right? Like, Chansey has Egg Boil as a move or something. Like, basically, they can make seeds. There's plant Pokemon. Da 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 da. You know, they can make resources, and they need a lot less resources considering there's only 1,000 of them, compared to the lion's billion. And do remember, lions, they don't have a small diet, and they need a lot of food in order to be strong. Even if they start dieting so that they can all survive for a long time or for an extended period of time, they will be weaker and will have less energy. Therefore, it will be easier to take care of them. So, like, I don't know why I went on such a tangent about space, because the world is really fucking big. Because, like, how many lions are there actually on the planet? How many lions are currently... That's not how you spell currently. Currently alive. Damn, that's not a lot. But yeah, well, yeah, they would not be used to having 1 billion. I can tell you that much, especially in one area for one fight. You know what I mean? They would not be able to beat literal gods. They would not be able to beat much. They would not be able to beat birds. They would not be able to beat natural disasters. They would not be able to beat starvation. They would not be able to even find shelter for everybody. Therefore, some would freeze in the winter. Some would overheat in the summer. Some would, struggle with resources. Reproduction, that would definitely overwhelm everybody. But I don't think they would want to reproduce at that point. You know what I mean? Wait, I just realized. You can also ditto at least one wait, you can have a ditto change to a legendary as well. So you essentially can have 2 of any legendary. So imagine 2 Mega Mewtwo Ys just zooming through. Yeah, no. I genuinely don't think the Lions could win. I mean, I guess there's a possibility, but with the birds that can fly, with the Pokemon that can produce food and supplies, or not supplies, but resources, the sheer power in the Pokemon, the sheer intellect that the Pokemon have that lions can't really relate to, and just the sheer, like, you would think that the differences in numbers would be, like, beneficial to the lions, but it's to the point to where they would all just die of starvation after 4 days. And so, all the Pokemon would have to do is survive for 4 days. And that's not that hard for them, considering, I mean, 1,000 Pokemon isn't a lot. Because, like, how many animals are in average habitat? Maybe I should have done ecosystem. By the way, this is talking about species. That's not what I meant to do. This is talking about species of animals, not even the individual animals. This is talking about species. So, like, the Pokemon would all be able to live in, like, some sort of, like, area. Especially since there are small Pokemon and there are big Pokemon. All the lions really need a lot of space, unlike Pokemon. And not to mention, lions also only survive in the savannah. What's the biggest savannah? What? Or, they don't only. Wait, what? Habitat. Or should I say, I'll say ecosystem. What ecosystems can lions live in? Savannas, grasslands, open woodlands, scrublands, semi-desert, and even mountainous habitats. So, I think savannas are the number 1, right? What is the biggest savanna in the world? Cerrado in Brazil, 2 million square kilometers. Nice. So, plenty of space for a battleground. This is probably where it would go. But realize something? There's still trees. And remember, there's still plantation. Plantation is flammable. All one Pokemon has to do is use Flamethrower, and they can burn it all. Not to mention, the fact that there is still survivable land for the Pokemon. Since there's so many different Pokemon, they can live in pretty much anywhere. And thanks to Kyogre and Groudon, they can basically make, or thanks to Rayquaza actually, they can basically just make any form of land their own like type of survival world. Especially with the Pokemon that can create wildlife and can spread nature and stuff like that. You know, so like they can literally change the habitat of where they are if they put their minds together. Which Pokemon are Pokemon, so they wouldn't 100% be able to. However, Mewtwo can canonically talk, and so if like I say Mewtwo can canonically talk. Didn't he talk in like the Detective Pikachu movie or something? So as long as there's one Pokemon that can talk, the rest can understand, because from the anime we can tell that Pokemon can understand human talk. And so that means that they would be able to communicate, which means they would be able to plan stuff, which means they can probably do more than lions can, since lions, it's hard to lead 1,000,000,000, but with 1,000 it's manageable, kind of. You know what I mean? Especially since Pokemon, some do have higher intellect than lions. So, you know, like, I probably ranted way too long. Holy shit, I've been talking for 26 minutes? Damn. Well, if anybody's watching this still, even though this is like way late to the argument, well, thanks. If you did enjoy, please do come back for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.